Welcome back at 8:26. We're back with The Luminist, a first novel by author David Rocklin that is getting some rave reviews. Some saying this new novelist is a writer to watch. And we have David Rocklin joining us in Studio 5 this morning to tell us all about the book. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good. So, this book, it takes place in a Victorian era, totally different time. How did you get involved with this story?
You know, the story grabbed me after my wife and I visited the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. I'm not a photographer, but we went to see the installation of very early age photography that they had. And the images were just stunning to me. You know, at the same time that they're very contemporary in their face, you realize these people have been gone for many, many years. There was a quote attributed to one of the photographers, "I longed to arrest all beauty that came before me," which I thought was just a beautiful way of putting any creative endeavor. Did a bit of research, found out A, she was a woman, which very unusual for her time. Wonderfully non-compliant with all the cultural expectations of her, and B, she lost a child at birth. And that put that quote into very stark perspective for me, and that's where the book really kind of came from at that point.
So a photograph, you look at a photo and this evolves into a story, and you're not a writer, you're a lawyer by trade, correct?
That's right, that's right. Although I have been writing all my life. I've gone through many phases. When I was little, I wanted to be Bruce Lee, I wanted to be a hockey player, and the only common thread is that I've written about them. That's, I think, how I've always made sense of my life in the world.
So talk about this story, what the reader goes through. What kind of ride are they in for in this book?
Right. Well, the story is set in 19th century India, and what it really is about are two people from very, very different worlds who become an unusually bonded family for each other. Catherine Colebrook, which is the character very loosely based on Julia Margaret Cameron, is the wife of a fated British diplomat who comes to Ceylon after the death of her child. Elijah Shuri is a Tamil Indian teenage boy who becomes first her servant and then her apprentice. And for them, this notion of taking a moment and just holding it still at the dawn of the age of photography becomes an obsession for both of them, and they lose touch with their respective worlds. They find themselves outcasts from their world, but as unrest is beginning to foment in Ceylon, they become, for each other, family.
The story goes from there. Historical fiction piece right there. And again, your first book, something that you've probably never embarked upon before, making that transformation to becoming an author and now having people follow your work. Some people saying you're an up-and-coming writer now. What's that been like for you?
It's been amazing. It's been wholly unexpected, the reaction that the book has gotten. You know, being an attorney, that means I make my living, and so I'm able to write what I want without a lot of concern about what happens to it. The fact that this one got published is a huge thrill for me, and the fact that people are finding some resonance in it and reaching out to me on Facebook or through my website, which I absolutely love. I love hearing and corresponding from people. It's been an absolutely wonderful experience, and I'm working on a new one, and I hope I can replicate it again.
Great. Working on another piece.
Yes, I am.
David Rocklin, thank you so much for joining us. The book is called The Luminist. It's available in major bookstores as well as online right now. Thanks for waking up and joining us.
I really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Great. And now here's Kim.
All right, Stefan, that sounds great. Coming up next in our news now, police break up the Occupy Chicago camp at Grant Park, arresting protesters. More on why and how many were hauled off. And a car careens into a restaurant in the dinner hour last night, setting the building on fire. Stay with us. We'll be right back.